A very good evening to all of you. Yesterday, we completed our discussion on DNA structure, RNA structure, and the comparative analysis of DNA and RNA structure. Apart from that, we studied about the replication of DNA, that why we need to replicate DNA and when replication of DNA occur. So today we are going to start our discussion with the topic that is DNA replication. But as DNA structure discovery was not an easy procedure, it required lots of time and many scientists put their life to for the discovery of DNA. Similar way, for this replication of DNA, several scientists put forward their ideas. So first, before we go for procedure of replication, we will first learn about the experiments that was required for identifying the types of replication that is active. Okay, so in this regard, we will first learn about the experiment called Michelson and Stahl experiment. If you want to know about them, uh, after discovery of DNA structure by Watson and Crick, the next challenge was how replication of DNA was proceeding. So in 1953, when the structure of DNA was proposed, after that, in the year 1958, two promising scientists, Matthew Michelson and Franklin Stahl, performed an experiment to identify the nature of DNA replication. So why this experiment was required, that's we need to understand first. First, let us understand from the point of view that when DNA replication proceed, there are several types possible. Okay, what are the types possible? See, it may be possible that DNA replication is, we can call it continuous or conservative. What do we mean by conservative DNA replication? In conservative DNA replication, after the copying of DNA, the old strand will go with the old strand and the newly formed strand will go with the newly formed strand. Okay, so it is called replication of DNA via conservative move. So you know what do we mean by conservative? कौन से लोगों को हम ज्यादा कंजर्वेटिव बोलते हैं? किनको हम बोलते हैं कि ये लोग बहुत ज्यादा कंजर्वेटिव है, कुछ सुनते ही नहीं है? Class, who are conservative people? Who are conservative people? Can you hear me? The term conservative means the one who is very much interested in keeping things to his or her own. I have my ideas and I am going to stick to it. I am not ready to mingle and share it up with the other. So in DNA replication conservative also, you can see the similar type of thing. When old strand are used for conservative means of DNA replication, old will remain with old and new will remain with new. Second type of possibility that was there was semi-conservative type. Now, in this type of DNA replication, in this specific type of DNA replication, what happens is beta, one old strand, that is I marked it in black, will go with one red strand, and another red strand will go with one black strand. So this is the way semi-conservative replication takes place. Understood? Now consider it is dispersive. So it's not at all bothering to conserve the identity. So what it does, it will produce strands with mixed structures like this, where none of the strands we can identify as old or new. Every strand is mixture of some part of new strand and some part of the old strand. So this type of replication is known as dispersive. It is known as dispersive type of replication. So this is dispersive, this is semi-conservative, and this one is known as conservative. Now the question is, which one is actually occurring in case of DNA replication? So Michelson and Stahl's experiment started with this question mark, that DNA replication, is it conservative? Is it semi-conservative or dispersive? The aim of experiment is clear to all of you? Class?
Yes, ma'am.
Great.
Yes, ma'am.
So now we will look into the experiment so that it will be easy for you to understand. So how they performed the experiment? What might be the way they performed experiment? What they did is they took the help of radioactive nitrogen. So what they did, they took E. coli bacterium, and with E. coli bacterium, they actually used E. coli bacterium to grow in a specific type of medium. Let us have a look into the diagrammatic representation of the experiment so that it will be very easy for you to identify. Is the screen visible, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
So what they did is they took the bacteria called E. coli. That is, full form is Escherichia coli. So what they did, they actually took this bacteria and let it grow first into a medium containing N14, which is normal nitrogen, not at all radioactive. Okay. Then once E. coli is growing in normal nitrogen 14 containing medium, it like let it grow in N15 containing medium, which is the radioactive nitrogen. So why? What is the purpose of doing this work? After doing these two things, what they did is they went for a procedure which is called density gradient centrifugation. Do you people know what do we mean by centrifugation?
I'm spinning very fast.
So what will happen after that? So why we spin something very fast? What is the benefit of that?
To mix.
Yes, Esha, can you repeat your answer once again, beta?
To mix.
To mix. Is it so? Is that the purpose of centrifugation? So that means all the blenders or mixing machines we are using at hives, we can call them centrifuge. No problem. Let me tell you. Have you ever wondered that the DNA, RNA or other materials present inside cell, do you think that they are they will ever settle down? Consider if I break cell, make a suspension or add it up into some water. Do you think at any time there are chances of precipitation or sedimentation of this substance naturally? What are the substances that naturally get sedimented? अगर मैं consider if I am making the solution of sugar, what it will do? Will there be any precipitation or sedimentation?
No, ma'am.
Isn't no? Why? But if I mix sand, then it will precipitate, no?
Yes,
Why?
ma'am. It will. Ma'am, because the
Why?
sand will, ma'am, because sand will not dissolve in any medium, and sugar can easily dissolve in any medium.
Great. So that means not to do that, not to just that it can be dissolved. Sand is having heavy weight. So it should, as it is not miscible, apart from that, gravitational force is dragging it down so that sand get precipitated. Even though many substances present in the salt, they do not get dissolved in water, but they do not precipitate. Why? Because you know, for precipitation, you need gravitational force acting in the downward direction. Isn't it? Yes or no? Which force is acting in upward direction, preventing it from precipitation? Here, पानी में कौन सा फोर्स रहता है जो उसको किसी चीज को फ्लोट करने में हेल्प करता है? क्लास
Buoyant force.
वेरी गुड. सो बॉयड फोर्स की वजह से, ग्रेविटेशन फोर्स कम होने की वजह से सेल्स की चीजें कभी भी प्रेसिपिटेट नहीं करेंगे. देन हाउ टू सेपरेट देम? हाउ टू सेपरेट एंड एनालाइज देम? So to solve this problem, what we do is we put the material in a test tube and we spin the test tube at very high speed. हम उसको एक सर्कुलर पाथवे में बहुत ज्यादा हाई स्पीड में घुमाते हैं. उससे क्या फायदा होने वाला है? When any object is moving in a high speed, a force that is called centrifugal force is acting in outward direction. Have you ever heard about centrifugal force? Centripetal and centrifugal force.
Yes.
So ये जो centrifugal force है बेटा, ये help करेगा something to get settled. More high speed spinning is there, more will be the value of centrifugal force. So in centrifugation, we don't only mix things. we actually make things precipitate. So if I am mixing sugar into water, that is not at all like example of centrifugation. The example of centrifugation, if you can remember, CBSE NCERT 9th grade, there was example of churning of milk. When you churn milk, पता है ऐसे काटा होता है जिससे लोग पुराने जमाने में they used to churn, उसमें से बटर निकलना from milk, that procedure is known as centrifugation. Because milk is a colloidal solution, things do not precipitate over there by natural means. So you are applying centrifugal force, things will get settled. So in this case, the Messelson and Stahl used the same method of centrifugation. You must have heard about centrifugation. When you tell that, right, what is the like subunit of ribosome present in prokaryotes and eukaryotes? Can anyone tell me? Ribosomal subunits. We use one word S after that. So in prokaryotes, it is how much S? Class? It is 70 S. It is 80 S in case of eukaryote. So what does this S stands for? Kausha, can you please speak? What do we mean by S? Since long time I didn't hear from you. Yes, Dish. Yes, Dish. What is this 70S, 80S?
It gives that S means Swedenborg subunit.
So it's also called sedimentation coefficient. So that is also calculated by means of centrifugation. So this centrifugation process is a very fundamental process in which you can see that here the heavy nitrogen medium and the E. coli present in it, its DNA is extracted, and this is if E. coli is present in light, that is N14 nitrogen medium. This is how the what I can say, the layer should be. Obviously, as you can understand, the N15 and N14 out of this two, the N15 and N14 out of this two, the N14 is lighter than the N15. So if anyone is having only N14, the layer will come at the top. If it is N15, layer will come at the bottom because it is heaviest. And the mixture of N14 and N15 will come in the middle. So here you can see this is where the layer of N15 should come. It's a mixed layer of N14 and N15. It should come in the middle. And only N14 should be coming here. Once again, I am repeating here. The E. coli was cultured in normal N15 containing medium. Now all of you know that every organism requires nitrogen in DNA. In which part of DNA nitrogen is required? Which component of nitrogen require DNA and which component of DNA require nitrogen? Class, we studied DNA structure like yesterday or day before yesterday.
Nitrogenous bases.
all of us know that for DNA structure, they require nitrogen as a nitrogen containing basis. So N14 will be present in their DNA. And similar way, the E. coli, which is growing in a medium containing N15, that will be also reflected in their DNA. So what happens is, consider if you are growing E. coli generation 1 in N14 containing medium and same E. coli generation 2 you grow in N15 containing medium, and then this culture you collect and analyze by this means. So if DNA replication would have been conservative, if it would have been conservative mode of obtained, so when the E. coli is growing in N14, it will have single band. When it is growing in N15 containing medium, the new strands will have N15. Sorry, it's opposite. So if you consider that the culture is growing in N15 containing medium and suddenly you shifted them to the N14 containing medium here, so the new strand will be having N14 and the old strand will be having N15. So if every generation you studied, generation 1, generation 2, generation 3, each and every generation you study, none of the time N14 and N15 bands will mix. They will always be separate from each other. How come? Let me draw the diagram by the side so that you will understand it with a better clarity. Consider these are the old strand. This is the first generation. In second generation, it will be old, will be deposited here, and the new strands will be deposited here. So from one strand, there is production of two strands. Now when these two strands will further go for replication, what will happen? Again, there will be 1, 2, 2 new strands and 1 old strand and another new strands. So out of the 4 strands, 3 will be new and 1 will be old. Because I told you during replication, the sequence of one strand is utilized to create the sequence of others. Now, in semi-conservative, what should be the scenario? Let us have a look into it. Here it is, in this case, it will be old strand. Once these two strands will go to the next generation, it will form 2 strands like this. 1 old, 1 new mix, 1 old, 1 new mix. That's why you can see here in this case, the band is coming in N15. This band is a mixture of N14 and N15. And in the next generation, what will happen? There will be production of 2 old strand will remain as it is. There will be presence of two new like this. Apart from that, two new strands will be produced. So this will be for this type of strands and this will be for this type of strands. Now, in case of dispersive, it is always mixed. So that means if we are starting like this for dispersive, it will be like this only. So whichsoever generation you study, it will be always a mixture of N14 and N15. So when Michelson and Stahl actually performed this experiment with the replication of DNA, none of this was observed. None of this was observed. Only this type of observation came, with which they proved that it is semi-conservative. Yes, Dish, bolo.
Ma'am, so in this experiment, one strand should be new and one strand should be old.
Yes. So that means whenever DNA replication is taking place, how it will do? Like this. So these two will be one strand and these two will be another strand. Understood, Dish?
Yes, ma'am.
So after this, quickly we will look upon the video of Michelson and Stahl experiment so that you have a better understanding, and then directly we will move ahead towards the process of DNA replication. I hope the screen is visible to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey everyone, quick biochemistry basics here. Let's talk about Michelson and Stahl's experiment. Watson and Crick had a hypothesis that the DNA replication was semi-conservative. However, there was no experimental evidence to test this hypothesis. So, to test this hypothesis, Michelson and Stahl in the year 1958 designed a wonderful experiment. Now, the word semi-conservative means each of the strand is going to act as a template for the synthesis of new strand. And to prove if this phenomenon is true or not, we must have a method to distinguish between the parent strand and the daughter strand. Yes, distinguish between parent strand and daughter strand. So here is what Michelson and Stahl did. They took E. coli wild-type cells and grew them in media containing N15 for several generations. N15 is a non-radioactive heavy isotope of nitrogen. The presence of N15 will make all the molecules in the cells, including the DNA, heavy. What does it mean by heavy DNA? It simply means if I take E. coli cells grown in N15 media and subject its DNA to density gradient centrifugation, then the density of this DNA will be more than the density of the DNA taken from cells grown on N14 media. The cells grown in N15 media were collected and transferred in fresh N14 media. So as the cells divide, they incorporate N14, which is the normal isotope, into its DNA. The cells were harvested every 20 minutes and the DNA was isolated and subjected to density gradient centrifugation. Let's take a look at the results. The presence of only intermediate band after the first generation indicates that the heavy strand was acting as a template for the synthesis of new strand with N14 isotope. As the cells divide further, more and more N14 is incorporated into its DNA. These results indicates that the replication of DNA is semi-conservative.
So I hope with this the concept of Michelson and Star experiment is clear to you. Class, any doubt?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So we will move ahead towards the process of DNA replication. In process of DNA replication also, we will first learn about the what I can say process, and then step by step we will see the video, so that we need to understand it is a three-dimensional process. So we need to be able to understand the meaning of each and every stage, and we should be able to visualize it. Okay, so let's have a look into it. So if you look into the process of DNA replication, you will be able to know that DNA replication is semi-conservative, but how exact process is functional? What are the things which are required for replication of DNA? So DNA is like starts at the origin of replication. As I mentioned yesterday, that in case of prokaryotes, there is only one ori, that is origin of replication. Whereas in case of eukaryotes, various positions of the chromosome, the DNA replication starts, and they have many origin of replication. This is due to high amount of genetic material present in the cell, which makes it almost compulsory for eukaryote to start replication process at the same time at different position. So, how then things understand it is origin of replication? Is there any marker present in the piece of DNA which has tagline like origin of replication written on it? Do you think any such thing is possible? No. It's a simple piece of DNA. So, obviously, enzymes have ability to understand which part is origin of replication, and there are factors which help them to identify these positions which are called origin of replication, and that's why origin replication originate from that point. Now we know that DNA is a double-stranded structure and hydrogen bond is present between two strands. So as you can see at this position, nitrogenous bases are bounded with each other via hydrogen bond. But if they remain occupied with the hydrogen bond, just now we see during the Messelstein experiment that if these are old strands, new strands have to be produced like this in between. That means the hydrogen bond between the old strands needs to be broken down. So whenever two strands of DNA are separated at the part which is called origin of replication, we call that structure as replication fork. Why like fork? Because we know fork जिसके साथ हम मैगी खाते हैं, it has similarity with that structure. That's why we call it replication fork. Now, what about eukaryotes? Is it same? Do they also have replication fork? If replication fork can exist only at one part, DNA is a continuous structure. So, in long or DNA, there will not be a single origin or fork, there will be many bubbles. Why bubbles? Bubbles means what will be there? This you can consider as one replication fork, and this you can consider as another replication fork. Okay. So first of all, let us divide this portion as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So initially जब replication start होगा, जहाँ जहाँ replication bubble create होगा, there that place will be termed as origin of replication. Each of this place is known as origin of replication. In prokaryotes, there will be single bubble because there is single origin of replication. In eukaryotes, there will be many bubbles because there is many origin of replication. Now, what about these bubbles? How they work? Consider in the first instance, if A is the part of DNA where hydrogen bond is intact, and B is the part of DNA where hydrogen bonds are broken and replication bubble is created. After some time, when newly synthesized DNA is formed in these replication bubble, जब B portion में newly synthesized DNA बन जाएगा, now B portion again will have hydrogen bonds between them. But इसके केस में कैसे hydrogen bond बनेगा? How the hydrogen bonds will be created? The hydrogen bonds will be created between old strand and new strand like this. Understood? Black वाला
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
strand है और वो new strand है. अब क्या होगा? ये bubble पिचक जाएगा. This bubble will stop. And C portion, at C portion there will be creation of bubbles. Similarly, D वाला bubble पिचक जाएगा. E portion there will be bubble. F will again there will be hydrogen bond. G will be bubble. So this way bubbles will continue, and at the same time जितने टाइम तुम्हें एक होल डीएनए सिंथेसिस करने में लगेगा, if there is one origin with having many origin, it can be done in very less amount of time. So what is the difference between replication fork and bubble? In fork we are imagining half of the bubble, but its fork actually does not exist other than if it is the end. Actually the thing that exists is the bubble, because in between दोनों side से DNA is present. Is this part clear to everyone?
मैम तो ये बहुत सारे बबल्स होंगे, तो मतलब वो डीएनए के तो बहुत छोटे छोटे टुकड़े हो जाएंगे ना?
कैसे टुकड़े हो जाएंगे बेटा? टुकड़े नहीं होंगे. Very good question, Yesha. All these kind of doubts actually मैं चाहती हूँ, क्योंकि this is something which is occurring in the cell, we cannot see. So strange doubts are natural. देखो यशा, क्या होगा? Let me take a whiteboard and explain. Consider this is the structure. Let us start with 3 replication. So the newly formed strand will be like this. When the bubble will move to this region, it will move further. Replication of DNA will continue only. No? यहाँ समझो, let me mark it down. A, B, C. यहाँ से ये DNA replication will be continuous only. No? And here also it will be continuous like this. So this is the way it will be continuous till then. And even if at one strand there is like production of small pieces, there is an enzyme called ligase which join them to give you an intact stretch of DNA. Understood, Yesha?
Yes, ma'am.
At the end, you will have intact DNA. At that time, you will not have pieces. We cannot have pieces. It's not affordable to have pieces. Okay, so let me share the screen once again. So this is how actually the procedure starts with the replication bubble. Now, let's see what is there in the process. So DNA replication can be subdivided into 3 parts. One is called initiation. Second is called elongation. And the third part is called termination. So creation of replication fork, replication bubble, and attachment of enzyme that is going to replicate DNA. जो DNA replication करेगा, that is known as initiation of replication. That means you are preparing for the DNA to replicate. Understood, beta? What do we have in elongation stage then? What do we have during the stage of elongation?
Ma'am, can you explain initiation once again?
Initiation is the it's the process which actually I can say that it's the process in which the replication starts. Understood? It's the process at which
Yes, ma'am.
replication starts. So DNA is there, isn't it? Now DNA polymerase, the enzyme which will go for the process of DNA replication, it needs to bind with DNA, no? So that they can start the process. That starting up of the process is known as initiation. So initiation process, आप जब आप पता है घर बनता है तो सबसे पहले क्या बनाते हैं उसका? What we like prepare? अगर हम घर बना रहे हैं तो सबसे पहले हम क्या बनाते हैं उसका?
Structure.
स्ट्रक्चर से भी पहले सोचो, स्ट्रक्चर से भी पहले हम क्या बनाते हैं? सबसे पहली चीज मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट चीज क्या है जो
मैम
हम
उसका
पहले,
डिजाइन रेडी करते हैं।
उससे भी पहले डिजाइन रेडी करने से पहले जब भी कोई घर बनता है सबसे पहले उसकी बेस बनती है। आपने देखा होगा कि नहीं देखा होगा, आई डोंट नो। घर का जो बेस है, जो फ्लोर है, जिसके ऊपर बाकी का पूरा घर बनेगा, दैट इज प्रिपेयर्ड फर्स्ट। तो इनिशिएशन इज द बेस, जिसमें फर्स्ट जो स्टेप है और फर्स्ट जो बेस है, समझो आपके पास एक डीएनए स्ट्रैंड है जिसका सीक्वेंस ATC है, तो इसकी कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री में जो टी, पहला जो टी ऐड होगा, दैट इज कॉल्ड इनिशिएशन। Initiation is up to the time first nitrogenous base is added. तो अपने आप तो ऐड नहीं होगा, सारे नाइट्रोजनस बेसिस को वहां तक आना है। डीएनए पॉलीमरेज एंजाइम जो ये पूरा प्रोसेस कंट्रोल करेगा, उसको ओरिजिन में बाइंड होना पड़ेगा। ऑल दिस प्रोसेसेस आर कमिंग अंडर इनिशिएशन, मतलब शुरू करना। अंडरस्टूड एवरीवन? इनिशिएशन। यशा, क्लियर बेटा?
यस मैम।
So now is elongation. What do we mean by elongation? Elongation नाम पे ही elongation है, मतलब किसी चीज को लंबा करना। So obviously once the first nitrogenous base is added, now you need to add more nitrogenous bases to complete the copying of the DNA. So addition of nitrogenous bases as per the complementary sequence, the process is called elongation. Okay, and termination मतलब जब आपकी पूरी डीएनए रेप्लिकेशन हो गई है तब आप इस प्रोसेस को स्टॉप कर दोगे, that means it is the termination process. Is this division of 3 phases clear to everyone?
यस मैम। यस मैम।
Sure. Sure. So now let us see what are the events that is taking place in each of these phases. Okay. So first thing, we are talking now about the initiation procedure. Okay. So in initiation procedure, first important step that is required is DNA strand is coiled, isn't it? Is it? हाइड्रोजन बॉन्ड इज प्रेजेंट बिटवीन टू स्ट्रैंड्स, है ना? हमें अगर रेप्लिकेशन फॉर्क बनाना है तो फर्स्ट काम क्या करना पड़ेगा बेटा? वी नीड टू ब्रेक डाउन द हाइड्रोजन बॉन्ड्स प्रेजेंट इन इट, डोंट यू फील? तभी तो रेप्लिकेशन फॉर्क या रेप्लिकेशन बबल बनेगा, तभी आके डीएनए पॉलीमरेज उस जगह पे यहाँ ऐड होगा। सो द एंजाइम व्हिच डज दिस वर्क इज नोन एज हेलिकेस। हेलिकेस क्या करता है? हेलिकेस डीएनए स्ट्रैंड्स को ऐसे खींच के सेपरेट कर देता है ताकि हाइड्रोजन बॉन्ड्स दोनों के बीच में ना रहे। Who else help in this activity other than हेलिकेस? चलो हेलिकेस ने दो हाइड्रोजन स्ट्रैंड्स को अलग कर दिया। Do you think they will remain separated like that? Do you think they will remain separated? नहीं, हाइड्रोजन बॉन्ड बनने की जो कैपेसिटी है वो तो उनमें अभी भी है। जैसे ही नाइट्रोजनस बेसिस एक दूसरे के पास आ जाएंगे, वो क्या करेंगे? दे विल कम क्लोज टू ईच अदर एंड दे विल ट्राई टू अगेन मेक द हाइड्रोजन बॉन्ड। तो उनको रोकना पड़ेगा कि नहीं रोकना पड़ेगा? यस और नो? सो दैट इज डन बाय
Yes, ma'am.
दिस सिंगल स्ट्रैंडेड बाइंडिंग प्रोटीन। सो लेट मी ड्रॉ द स्ट्रक्चर हियर। If this part is having hydrogen bond, consider this part. In this part, the strands are wide apart. Immediately as helicase breaks the hydrogen bond, immediately after that, spherical proteins called single strand binding protein bind to this part. They will cover the nitrogen present in the nitrogenous bases Basically, they will cover the area where through which the nitrogenous bases can make hydrogen bond. Okay, so this is the role of helicase and single stranded binding protein. I'm moving ahead once again, hoping that there is no question related to this part. Now, if we are winding two places, you try this with a rubber band at your home. Okay, if you find a rubber band, give me 1 minute. Let me find a rubber band so that I can explain it to you in a better way. You will be able to understand. Consider this is a rubber band, okay, present in a DNA. It is coiled like this. It is coiled like this. Is it visible to everyone? The coiling.
Yes, ma'am.
If you try and uncoil it from middle, if you try and uncoil it from the middle part, what you will see is there will be induction of more coiling at two sides. Consider करो ये तुम्हारा रबर बैंड है जो coiled है. If you try and uncoil it at the middle part, you will see that try doing this at home. You will understand the concept. You can see the coiling will increase at the two ends. क्योंकि आप बीच में से उसको separate कर रहे हो तो the two ends will be more coiled. Now we are tackling not with rubber band beta, we are tackling with DNA. So obviously अगर हम DNA को tackle कर रहे हैं, rubber band हुआ टूट गया, we will take another. DNA, some part is broken, that will be a irreplaceable damage. So there is an enzyme called topoisomerase. What it does? वो क्या करता है? It cuts the DNA strand. It cuts the DNA strand someplace. For example, if this part is too much coiled, वो क्या करेगा? It will cut this part. Let me. It will cut this part. Consider it will cut this part. It will do what next then? It will take this strand and let it rotate clockwise. तो आप क्या करोगे? कट करके उसको ऐसे करके घुमा लोगे. So the stress created on the strand can be relieved. And then again you join with the ligase. So this is the way the stress created in the strand due to creation of replication bubble is relieved by the enzyme called topoisomerase. So this is the enzyme and DNA. What it does? अगर ये ऐसे coiled है, enzyme क्या करेगा? इस coil को खोल देगा. कैसे खोलेगा? वो इसको यहाँ से कट करेगा, यहाँ से कट करेगा, और फिर उसको properly वो जोड़ देगा. See, it is joined by this. So this is the way DNA strand will be. The stress present in the DNA strand will be relieved. Is this part clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
This topoisomerase has another name. In some books, it is mentioned as a guidase also. So now, जब आप घर बनाते हो, do you need a land to prepare house? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Can we prepare a house in air? बेस के बगैर हाउस है एयर में. Can we prepare? Class?
No, ma'am.
So DNA भी पहला
Except tree house.
ट्री हाउस में भी तो बेस तो है ना बेटा. ट्री इज द बेस isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
ट्री इज द बेस. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि बेस नहीं है. ट्री इज द बेस. Without base, nothing can be added. Same way, whenever there is piece of synthesis of DNA, we need to understand that, consider this is the replication bubble created by uncoiling. आपको यहाँ पे A, B, C, G है. आपको यहाँ पे पहली T ऐड करनी है. इस पार्ट में कोई सपोर्ट प्रेजेंट है इसके पास? Yes or no? Does it have any support on which this T can be created? है कि नहीं है बेटा? Newly synthesized strand में. Is the screen visible to all of you?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
उसको एक सपोर्ट चाहिए कि नहीं चाहिए बेटा? जिसके
चाहिए.
ऊपर वो T, A, G और C को ऐड करे. That support is RNA primer. So there is an enzyme called RNA polymerase. उसमें ये एबिलिटी होती है, वो हवा में भी घर बना सकता है. That means it can add or it can create a short piece of RNA. It can create a short piece of RNA, whereas the nitrogenous bases can be added up. Okay, so this is what is the role of RNA primers. Now we will move ahead. So primase or RNA polymerase is the enzyme which produces the RNA primer, and it is required because DNA polymerase cannot add the nucleus. So this is the scheme of process. I must say, I hope the screen is visible, beta.
Yes, ma'am.
You can see that helicase is moving ahead, and primase is adding the RNA piece of RNA, and then DNA polymerase will add the first nitrogenous piece. But there is a twist in कहानी. कहानी में twist ये है that same DNA polymerase add or go for replication in both the strands. So if you have two DNA strands like this, same piece of DNA polymerase needs to go for synthesis of the strand. But DNA polymerase can synthesize strand from 5 prime to 3 prime only. DNA polymerase सिर्फ 5 प्राइम टू 3 प्राइम डायरेक्शन में नाइट्रोजनस बेसिस को ऐड कर सकता है. अब कहानी में ट्विस्ट क्या है? ये वाली स्ट्रैंड समझो 5 प्राइम टू 3 प्राइम हुआ. ये वाली स्ट्रैंड क्या होगी? 3 प्राइम टू 5 प्राइम. Isn't it? मतलब ये वाले स्ट्रैंड में डीएनए की रेप्लिकेशन कौन से डायरेक्शन में होगी? इस डायरेक्शन में. और ये वाले स्ट्रैंड पे रिप्लिकेशन ऑफ डीएनए कौन से स्ट्रैंड पे होगी, इस डायरेक्शन में. Is this part understood by you people, beta? The problem faced by DNA polymerase.
Yes, ma'am.
So that is what the main problem is, and it is like something which cannot be solved by normal means. So it's time already. With this suspense, we will conclude our class. कि same DNA polymerase कैसे दोनों डायरेक्शन में आगे बढ़ता है और दोनों डायरेक्शन में वो अपनी DNA की सिंथेसिस करता है. That we are going to talk tomorrow. But today we finished the initiation part, जिसमें same DNA polymerase added the first nitrogenous base. Tomorrow onwards, we will start learning about the elongation and the further stages. Any doubts regarding whatever I taught today, beta?
No, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Okay then. Yes, Dish.
ma'am, I am having one general doubt.
Ask us. Any doubts? Most
Ma'am,
welcome.
Is any exception is there in DNA or RNA?
Like exception means?
मैम एक्सेप्शन मीन्स डीएनए का एक्सेप्शन होगा ना कि डीएनए कुछ में नहीं होगा, ऐसे एक्सेप्शन.
There are exceptions, no? When I taught you the structure of RNA and DNA, I told you. You must have missed that part, Dish. That generally DNA is double-stranded and RNA is single-stranded. But in virus, RNA can be genetic material, first of all. In virus, it is possible that RNA is double-stranded and DNA is single-stranded. That is possible in case of virus.
Other than virus?
Other than virus, there is no exception, because other than virus, in all organisms, RNA is the helper and DNA is the main genetic one. Other than virus, there is no exception.
Okay.
Ma'am, I also have a doubt.
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, in grafting, stalk and scion, the plant formed by it will be genetically identical to stalk or scion.
It will be identical to both. The lower part will have genetic ability of stalk, and the upper part. Generally, we are more interested in scion because the fruit or the other part we are getting from scion only. So that will be like the scion. For example, आप अगर कोई fruit ले रहे हो उस plant में से, that will have genetic characteristics of scion.
एंड मैम हमें जो हाथ में वेन्स दिखती है, मैम ब्लड वेसल्स और ब्लड दोनों रेड होता है, तो वो ग्रीन जैसी क्यों दिखती है?
ग्रीन जैसी क्यों दिखती है? ग्रीन तो नहीं दिखती है, डिपेंड्स ऑन लाइक अदर्स, बट ऑक्सीजनेटेड deoxygenated blood moves ahead, and there are other layers also. There are fatty layers and there are muscular layers through which you can see the veins. That's why they may be appearing green. Very good question, Yesha. They should be red. Why they are green? The shade or difference in shade is maybe due to the other layers added between your eyes and the this one, the inner layer of the skin.
Okay.
Anything else, anyone? Okay, then we will meet next week. I shared the questions to Vishwajit sir. He will share with you.